Pokemon from the Galar region are finally making their way to Pokemon Go, and no, we're not talking about those. The Galar starters and Gen 8 pseudo-legendary Dreepy have arrived, but just how good are these newcomers? Well, let's take a look at their stats and find out. Getting right into our analysis, let's begin with the first Galar starter, Rillaboom. The mono grass type has the highest attack stat of any grass starter at 239, ahead of Meowscarada's 233. And because of this, Rillaboom has long held high potential as a raid attacker, even without Frenzy Plant. With the moveset of Razor Leaf and Grass Knot alone, Rillaboom is poised to beat all the other grass starters with Frenzy Plant. However, as we covered in our recent video, Niantic has overhauled the raid system, and Rillaboom didn't fare too well because of it. Due to the buffs to Leafage, Rillaboom is now outclassed by both Meowscarada and Frenzy Plant Decidueye. It's still a solid pick, but not as good as it once was. But with that said, we don't know if these changes are going to be rolled back or not. Now the other Galar starters are nowhere near as relevant as this one, but with that said, both are also attack weighted, giving them solid potential when they eventually receive their Calm Day moves, as they'll both be great raid attackers with those exclusive moves. Now getting into their PvP relevance, there unfortunately isn't much to talk about. With all three Galar starters being attack weighted, they're all pretty glassy in PvP, giving them less potential in battle. Since Rillaboom has the highest stamina of the three, it does have the most potential, though its overall bulk is serviceable, so it's not going to be that great. Plus the moveset of Razor Leaf, Grass Knot, and Earth Power isn't very special either. If you want a Razor Leafer for PvP, go with something like Victory Bell. And if you want a Grass and Ground type, go with either Torterra or Meganium. So for Rillaboom, its performance definitely isn't anything impressive. Then you've got Cinderace, which fares even worse unfortunately, with less bulk and an uninteresting moveset at the moment. Pokemon like Talonflame or Skeledirge should be your fire type choice for PvP, or even Blaziken if you want fighting type coverage. So once again, not very impressive win rates for this Galar starter either. Finally, with Inteleon having the highest attack, that unfortunately means it's going to be the glassiest of the three. And while it does have a more interesting moveset, it's still not enough to set it apart in PvP. In fact, there's numerous other water types that I recommend using over Inteleon. Honestly, I'm not even sure Hydro Cannon would save it in PvP. So this concludes that all three starters are going to be pretty underwhelming. They'll have solid raid potential because of their attacks, but next to no potential in PvP. But what about the pseudo-legendary Dreepy, or more specifically its final evolution, Dragapult? Well, fortunately for us, Dragapult actually fares quite better. With a pretty nice attack of 266, this Dragon Ghost type has a lot of potential in Pokemon Go. As a raid attacker, I wouldn't exactly recommend it as a Dragon type. It's serviceable with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe, but I still recommend Pokemon like Dragonite, Salamence, or Haxorus over it. As a ghost attacker though, it's a bit more interesting. Astonish may not be the best move for raids, but it still works pretty well alongside Shadow Ball. Not accounting for the move updates, Dragapult lands as a pretty respectable spot as a ghost type attacker, though it's not a must-have. With the new raid changes however, it's a bit farther down on the list. Still respectable, but just moderately good at best. In PvP though, Dragapult has a pretty good moveset with the newly buffed Astonish, Breaking Swipe, and Shadow Ball. It's still pretty glassy, especially in the lower leagues, but its moveset and typing let it put up a decent fight in the Go Battle League. In the Master League, it puts up a more respectable fight, and while its win rate may not look outstanding, it becomes more impressive when you look at who it beats. Zacian, Xerneas, Solgaleo, both forms of Necrozma, Mewtwo, and Landorus. I will note though that it prefers to have shields when facing these Pokemon, performing a lot worse without them, but I'd still say this is a Pokemon to keep your eye on if you end up getting one. Now before we conclude this analysis, I also want to mention Stonjourner, which is the UK-based regional introduced as well. And unfortunately, it's nothing more than a dex filler, a mono rock type with passable bulk and an uninteresting moveset, just a collector's item at best. And that wraps up our first Galar Pokemon analysis for the season. We hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to let us know what you think of these Pokemon in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming content. We'll have analyses for the rest of the Gen 8 Pokemon as they release this season, so stay tuned for that. Also, we just hit 5,000 subscribers on the channel, so I want to thank you guys so much for your support over the years. Whether you're a day one or you recently just found the channel, we really appreciate you guys so much. We hope to continue to bring you enjoyable content on the channel. Until next time though, Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.